One of the most important things about combat is sound. Anybody who's been there will tell you that things you hear are the things you remember the longest. And I want to tell you about two things I heard that I'll never forget. The first one was during one of our missions up north in the Baghdad area. A pilot in an F-16 from another unit, who was part of the strike package we were in, was hit by a surface-to-air missile. And over the strike common frequency, because one of his radios, electrical system was damaged, he could only talk on the radio with the strike frequency. And he couldn't change off that frequency for some reason. We listened to he and his flight lead talk about his airplane falling apart as he tried to make it to the border so rescue could get to him. And he'd come on every now and then and talk about the oil pressure was dropping and vibrations were increasing, and his flight lead would encourage him to stick with it. We can get there, we can get there. This went on for about 14 or 15 minutes. Until finally he said, oil pressure just went to 0. And then my engine quit. And then that's all I got. I'm out of here. And we couldn't see them. I'm not sure exactly where they were. But there wasn't another sound on that radio for that 14 or 15 minutes. And then there was kind of a pregnant pause. And then the last call we heard was, tell my wife I love her. I'll never forget those 14 minutes. The other thing I heard was when the ground war actually started, an F-16 pilot by the name of Billy Andrews, who some of you may have heard or seen or met, because he won the Air Force Cross for his actions that day, was shot down in the middle of the retreating Republican Guard, and I mean right in the middle of them. And the call went out from AWACS, was there anybody around who had the ordnance and the fuel who could get to where he was located in case we needed him for SARCAP? And a lot of people responded, but the first one that I really paid attention to was the voice of an Army Chinook helicopter pilot who came on the radio and said, look, I've got this much gas, here's my location, I can be here in that many minutes, give me his coordinates, I can pick him up. Now everybody knew where the Republican Guard was, and everybody knew that he was right in the middle of them. And you got to remember that a Chinook is about the size of a double-decker London bus with props on it. And it doesn't have guns on it. And I don't know how you feel about women in the military, but I guarantee you I would follow her into combat. And I'll never forget her voice.